Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 22nd of August for the Sun or the Ascendant. As ever, I'm going to give you the broad strands to look out for, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces. Now, as this week begins, Mercury, the ruler of the sign of Virgo, is forging a tremendous angle to Pluto. So there's a sense that the analysis that Mercury in Virgo provides at the best of times is heightened even more by this combination. Now the Sun on Tuesday also powers into Virgo. So a very Virgoan energy is starting to develop. Some may call this Virgo season. So what is the sign of Virgo about? It's the sixth zodiac sign. It's ruled by Mercury, of course. It is an earth sign, but also it's mutable in terms of its quality. So very much to do with flexing. But it's asking us to use our precision and discrimination to get some of the finer details of our situations working that much more efficiently. And that can be something that can give us a great deal of pleasure. It may not sound very sexy, but actually, if the main parts of our world are running in a well-ordered way, that frees up energy. And of course, the sign of Virgo is about health as well as virtue. So we have an opportunity over the next 5 weeks to really take these areas a lot more seriously, particularly as there is a Virgo new moon on Saturday, which is going to be particularly influential because it's squaring up to the mighty Mars in the sign of Gemini. Also, Mars is forging an exuberant link with Jupiter this week, which can give us a lot more desire to live in the moment. But the clash between Mars and the new moon suggests we shouldn't try too hard to be too perfect, to try to strip out too many parts of our existence which may be a little bit indulgent. It's about finding a nice balance. But also this week, Uranus slams on the brakes, the last of the higher octave planets to do so, and will be in retrograde through to the 22nd of January next year. But there's a T-square later this week between Saturn, Uranus and Venus. And in fact, Venus and Saturn are going to be exactly opposite one another. So any relationship where one partner tends to be quite sacrificing and hardworking, particularly on the domestic front, and the other person tends to be a bit more focused on their own needs, that could cause some frosty relations as this week draws to a close. But also on Friday, Mercury moves into the sign of Libra. So whatever happens this week, however much we're trying to reform certain areas of our life, whether it's to do with decluttering, clearing out drawers, recycling stuff that we don't need anymore, perhaps getting a bit fitter, looking at what we're eating and seeing if we can make some improvements, perhaps considering some physical health treatments such as massage or aromatherapy. All that virtue is going to be tested by that T-square that involves Saturn. So when Mercury moves into Libra at the end of this week, important to listen, because I do think a bit more of a critical vibe is going to start to develop as this week draws to a close. Please stay with me for your in-depth forecast, but if you are wanting to ascend above zodiac astrology, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place, I can give you a roadmap that can guide you for the rest of your life. This can help you to understand some of the difficult patterns that may have come up over the years, but also highlight the opportunities that maybe you can embrace a bit tighter. But also with this, you will get a forecast as well, and 30% off with my special offer. Now you can get the rest of this year free as well as the whole of year 2023 within this forecast, please see the link below. Now, if you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be grateful if you did so now. If you have already, thank you so much. So Libra, your week commencing the 22nd forecast sees your ruler challenged by the restrictive energies of Saturn. Any weakness around any relationship, be it a friendship, an association, or a partnership, is likely to be flagged. And with the sun diving deep on Tuesday into a more reflective area, the next few weeks could be a time when you do want to mull over exactly how you feel about this situation. But ironically, if there is someone you're really bonding with Jupiter in your sector of relating, linking so dynamically to Mars in your sector of expansion, this could be a perfect time to go on a trip, an adventure with someone you actually get on very well with. So perhaps Saturn's message for you is really go for the relationships that are most meaningful, because I think over the next few weeks it is possible that the more fair weather type are going to become a bit more apparent. Now, of course, Mercury is going to be moving into your sign this week, and that's brilliant, but it will be going into a retrograde on the 9th of September. And so just be aware that this is an opportunity to think about those ideas that are important to you. But because of the sun diving deep, it's asking you just to think much more about more sensitive, more healing, and more reflective strands. Now, Uranus, the planet of surprises, which can be a real disruptor, does go into retrograde midweek, which lasts through to the 22nd of January next year. Now, that's going to interact with the Venus-Saturn opposition later this week, and maybe it could be a relationship where someone's a bit clingy or wants a bit too much of your time and you're wanting to be a bit more of a free spirit. That could be what's flagged up towards the end of this week. But the new moon, which occurs later this week, suggests that when it comes to more sensitive elements of your situation, it will be important, if something does seem to affect you a little bit, not to amplify its significance too much because of the square with Mars. So that is possible. So essentially at the moment, Mars is giving you a lust for truth, and unfortunately the sun diving deep in the 12th house could just make you a little bit more aware of those who aren't quite so devoted to you, and any weak link in any relationship can be exposed by Saturn's opposition to your ruler.